Attention. Thanks for tuning in. It's your host, Xavier Smith, excited for today's episode of Lifestyle Leaps as we talk about budgeting. Now, I know we can all sometimes, or most times even, spend way more than necessary. I've been a victim of it. We've all been victims of bad budgeting at some point in our life. And this episode is going to give us an opportunity to change that. Right. So everyone, I really want to emphasize as we transition the importance of this opportunity we have to grow every opportunity that we can. If you learn something once every day, from Eric Thomas, this was an audio book on Apple Music. But if you learn something once every day, then at the end of the year, you would have learned 365 new things. And if you were against that, then if you learn one new thing a week, you would have learned 52 new things by the end of the year. Right? Look at how you can grow with knowledge. Knowledge is power if you apply it. So as we reintroduce our vocab word of the week and on every episode that follows this one, take advantage of your time, your mind and body to learn one new thing with all of us here on Pay Attention. So today we're going to talk about some key components to creating and tracking any budget. But before we go any further, I just want to encourage everyone to please drop some comments below. Here on Lifestyle Leaps, we want to encourage everyone to do just that, right? Take some leaps with your lifestyle. So if you're looking to talk about finances, physical goals, emotional goals, spiritual goals, things outside of money, that we can all benefit from, that can give us a leap in our lifestyle is what we're going to talk about on this segment of Pay Attention. So again, I just want to give everyone the opportunity to drop something that you would like to talk about, as well as like and share this video, because as we dive more into the success mentality, which covers everything that I just mentioned before, we want to make sure that you are listening to something that you would also like to hear as well.
Hi, my name is Stephen Gray. I'm the founder of Genie Cakes, a family recipe that's been in our family since 1945. It was left to me by my grandmother. Out of those flavors that she left us in our family, there was 7-Up, original vanilla, sour cream, and a classic pineapple upside down, which has always been my favorite. We're located in the Galleria Mall on the second floor, right next to the Apple Store. Please come out and get this delicious, moist cake that will melt in your mouth like cotton candy.
Back to the main topic today, budgeting, right? Times are getting tough. Can we all agree on that? And if you do agree with that, just drop a 1 in the comments. But prices are gaining inflation every day. And in today's climate, every dime and dollar needs to be spent lucratively, meaning it needs to be spent with the mindset of making us money back. So in order to create and maintain cash flow, right, the first thing we're going to talk about today is the cash flow quadrant. Right, Robert Kiyosaki, author of Rich Dad Poor Dad, #1 world's best-selling book, literally is a financial guide to managing your money. Right, believe it or not, Robert Kiyosaki identified and created the cash flow quadrant, which is what we're going to talk about today. Now, the reason why we're going to talk about the cash flow quadrant is because this is going to give people a life reality check to stop, breathe, sit back, and think about their finances, right? Oftentimes, we may not think too deep into our finances. We may think just, oh, how much do I make an hour? How many hours am I working a week? How much does my paycheck look like? But when we talk about real finances, like, okay, bet, where is my money coming in from? Where's my money going to, right? How am I spending it? How are my assets and liabilities comparisons? And how are they helping me or how are they hurting me? So this cash flow quadrant is going to just give people a basic level view into how they're living their daily lives. Believe it or not, the lifestyle you're living, the bank account that you have right now, the amount of money you make every year is going to dictate where you fall in this cash flow quadrant. And so this cash flow quadrant, like I said, he revealed a lesson, Robert Kiyosaki, that he learned from a rich friend's father. And as we talk about the cash flow quadrant today that was created by Robert Kiyosaki, right, we're going to highlight 4 main characteristics or categories that we all may fall in. Believe it or not, you are somewhere on this screen right now. And so the first thing we're going to talk about is the largest percentage, and that's the employees. Right at the bottom, this green circle is going to highlight our employees, which make up 65% of the entire population. So the employees are the working class, the 9-to-5 employees, the minimum wage employees, the people who file a W-2 or their taxes are filed in a W-2 bracket, right? This is going to make up most of the population. These are going to be, like I said, people working at Target, Walmart, people working at Foot Locker, people working anywhere that can create a job between the hours of the day that people need someone in store to work. Next, you're going to have your sole proprietors. These are going to be 30% of our entire population. These people are, for example, your barbers, your nail techs, and their food trucks. Now, the difference between an employee and a sole proprietor is one major characteristic is your taxes now change, right? You are now responsible for filing your taxes. A 1099 tax is going to mean you are tracking and documenting your money yourself, and you are filing it with a 1099 form. Now, your W-2 is going to be a form that is sent to you because your corporation, your organization is going to file your taxes for you, take a percentage of your finances for doing it for you, and then pay you your taxes, and then pay you your wage. So your W-2 tax bracket and your 1099 tax bracket is one of the 2 biggest differences between the employees and the sole proprietors. Now, sole proprietors do own a business, but they have to be there in order to make money, right? Again, your barbers, your nail techs, your food trucks. I have to be in the barbershop cutting hair in order to make money, right? So now we're going to focus on this red circle. This is going to be our business owners. These are going to be the CEOs. These are going to be the chairmen, the vice chairmen of corporations, of nonprofits. These business owners, for example, are Walmart, Apple, McDonald's, CEOs, right? Any other major business, right? Your friend's dad may own a business that's bringing in a business is classified as, I believe you have over 2,500 employees, right? A legitimate business, and this is based off the number of employees that you have. And 4% of our entire population are actually business owners, right? So they're going to actually have a different tax bracket because they have more leniency and different tax opportunities open to them because of their income. So you're going to potentially see them filing W-2s, 1099s throughout the company for their employees, or 1099 for themselves, or whatever other tax bracket that may be filed for that specific business, right? Different industries of businesses have to file different taxes. You have a different tax code based off the income you have, and of course the business and the whole nine. So business owners make up 4% of the entire population. And this is, again, someone that has, again, your employees are going to dictate if you are a true business owner or not. Now, your investors, these are 1% of the entire population, right? These are the people who invest in the stock market, the Forex market, crypto, options, everything else, right? The investors, the difference between an investor and an employee is this 1099 bracket, right? I want you to understand is going to break down into different subcategories. You're going to have the 1099-C, right, for contractors. You're going to have the 1099-INV for investors. These are different tax liens that you have access to by being an investor or a business owner because of the cash, the way you make money, and of course, how much money you make. So again, your investor, this is your cash flow quadrant that was created by Robert Kiyosaki, but this is just going to help you guys understand where you fall in today's economy of this quadrant. The next thing we're going to talk about is our expense report. So when we talk about budgeting, it's great to follow, okay, bet, what category am I in? How do I categorize my income, right? That's what the cash flow quadrant is for. But our expense report, this is going to be where we are able to create a physical representation, right? We're going to act like this is a map and you're going to start from zero, and you're going to map out your route to the grocery store, your route to grandma's house, your route to your sister's house, your route right back home. You're going to map out where, basically, instead of your family, your money. You're mapping out where your money is going, right? Your income, your expenses, your assets and liabilities. This is going to be what they do not teach in school, as well as a cash flow quadrant. But this is what you have to learn from either a experienced, well-versed family member, business owner, mentor, friend, or just someone that wants to share the information, or you're not going to have it at all. So this expense report is going to help you, again, identify and now allow you to see how to balance, right? We're talking about your money, your checkbook, right? Balancing your money out so you can actually have money to spend, have money for bills, have money for taxes, and have it all organized so you actually know how much money you're paying yourself. Now, this is our expense reports, right? This is going to be broken down into how they're going to look for different people. That is why I love this example, because the most common thing about each of these categories, you have the poor, the middle class, and the rich, is that each of these categories have a similar structure. Both poor, middle class, and the rich have an income and they have expenses, right? Both poor, middle class, and the rich have assets and liabilities, but it's all about your flow, your cash flow, your liquidity, your money management, your financial literacy. It's all about how you're managing your funds in order to have success. And so we're going to break this down, right? So the most common thing that most people do is they don't organize their money, right? They don't track their money. And that's how you lose way more money. If you don't know how much money you're really making or losing, then you don't really know how much money you really have. And so this poor example is going to be an income income that is created by a job, right? This income is created by a job. And so your job is going to give you a salary, right? So that's how you get paid. And now out of your salary that they pay you, you're going to have what we call expenses, right? Now these expenses are going to give you, for example, whatever you pay for, your taxes, your rent, your food, transportation, your clothes. Now the only thing that's different from the poor, middle class, and the rich is 99% of the chance the poor is not going to even have an expense report written out. But 2, the next thing is how their flow is. So as I explain the other 2 categories, you're going to see how or why using your finances like a poor expense report is bad for you long term and bad for anybody, really. So our next category is our middle class category. This is going to be a little bit different from your poor class, because now you're going to be more than likely making a little bit more money, which means you're going to have access to more information, more education. You see, when you become a doctor, you get access to other doctors. And so when you get access to other doctors, you should be asking questions about how to become a better doctor. What are they doing with their money? How are they investing their money? So like I said, you want to understand this middle class expense report is going to look very different from the poor because of one very crucial thing: the information you have access to in your circle. And so as we explain this, your middle class also have a job, right? And so your middle class job is going to fund their income through a salary, right? But I want you to watch this. Although we both have expenses, we have taxes, we have we have a mortgage payment, car payment, credit card payment, school loan payment, things that take money out of our debt, right? We still want to follow the cash flow. So what happens is, when middle class people, while they end up paying more in taxes, while they truly don't have any money, they're living paycheck to paycheck, making $150,000 a year. They're living paycheck to paycheck, making $300,000 a year. It's not because they're just spending too much money. That's a part of it, but because of how their cash flow is being fluid, like the fluidity of their cash flow, right? So you have a job that's creating an income through salary, and now you're going to take your salary and you're going to pay liabilities, right? Your liabilities are anything that take money out of your pocket. So your mortgage, your car loans, credit card debt, school loans. So when you're looking at your salary, right, and you're paying your money, right, guess what? You got to pay these off the bat, right? But you also have to pay your expenses, right? Notice the poor doesn't have any liabilities, right? But the middle class do have liabilities, right? And because they have liabilities, they're losing more money because they have to pay liabilities as well as expenses. Even though some of these may mimic each other, right, you still have to understand that you're losing 2 times as much money, even as a middle class representative making anywhere from, I believe, $80,000 to $250,000. You're considered middle class in America, right? And so now we're going to look at a different example, the last example, the rich expense report. This is going to be a totally different matrix, a totally different concept, a totally different fluidity of money, right? So you're going to see first we're going to start with their income. Their income is going to be their rental income, their dividends, meaning they're investing, the interest they make, meaning they have someone that's paying them interest, right? Royalties. Are they a music artist? Or do they have a YouTube channel that's making streams? Are they streaming on YouTube? Are they getting paid from TikTok, right? Royalties. You make something once and you get paid for it over and over again. Another word for royalty is a residual. So their income is different. They don't have a salary like the poor and middle class. They're getting paid off of a physical asset or a physical IP, intellectual property, that creates royalties or dividends, right? And then, of course, they have expenses as well, but now we're going to focus on their assets and liabilities. See, the rich people, they're going to invest in stocks. They're going to invest in real estate. They're going to invest in bonds. They're going to invest in notes and other IPs. So guess what? Their assets, their portfolios, right? They're making millions in real estate. They're making they may be even making hundreds of thousands in real estate, hundreds of thousands in stocks, a few tens of thousands in bonds, right? A few thousand in notes. They may be making a few other 100,000 off the intellectual properties, but that's from different streams of income. And those assets are creating their income, right? And so they're not working for these assets. These assets are creating money as the clock ticks second by second. So now that you have assets that are making you money every second of the day, your income is growing. Now, because your income is growing, your expenses are minimal because you're making way more money than what it costs for you to live. And therefore, you have less expenses and liabilities, right? So I know that this was a lot of information to think about. Like, wow, this may look very confusing. Some people may be looking at this expense report for the first time, may have never seen this type of diagram before. And it makes sense and understand. I was in your same position. But when you start realizing, okay, where do I fall in my expense report? Do I have a poor expense report, a middle class expense report, or a rich expense report? And now ask yourself, what do the people around me have? Because if the people around you don't have better or at least the same, then something's wrong, right? Or if you are having a great, how many people can you help have better income statements, better expense reports, right? And so when we talk about budgeting, right, again, this cash flow quadrant is going to help you identify who you are in this world of the economy. And now our expense report is going to help you track your finances in this economy. There are trillions of dollars printed today that are in motion, right? That are in the market, that are actively live. And so your money, believe it or not, you may not be documenting it, but your money is being documented, calculated, and counted every dollar that you spend by a computer in a facility that we don't even know about. So understand, right? You have other people studying your money more than you. That's why it's more important for you to study and focus on your own finances as well. And so I'm not going to stay on this call for too long, but I do want to say thank you guys for hopping on to this episode of Lifestyle Leaps as we talked about budgeting basics. If you would like me to dive a little bit more deeper into budgeting basics, you would like me to dive a little bit more deeper into anything that we discussed, the cash flow quadrant, the expense reports, let me know so I can get value that you want. But this has been a great episode. I hope that you guys learned something. I hope that this made it easier or simpler for you, but at the same exact time, I hope that everyone takes something from this and shares it with someone else so that we can impact our community, build up our community, and of course show gratitude and love to our community. Appreciate you guys for hopping on to this episode. Drop some comments in the chat below. Make sure you share this video. Make sure you like this video. And of course, I'll see you guys next week on Lifestyle Leaps as we talk about the next edition in making our life more successful. Appreciate y'all for being here. See y'all next week. I'm out.